Hey, I am CAELIN Virginia Meredith, and I am the global director of the Slipknot Museum, and we are going to be at Knotfest Australia this year.
That you are indeed, Carlin. Thanks for joining us again this year.
It's my pleasure, Kris. Thanks to you and all the fans out there in Australia. Again, we can't wait to bring you guys something really special.
And it's good to see Heavy being represented in the official Knotfest Museum as well.
Well, actually, Kris, I'm going to blow your mind right now because I decided to take this interview from the Slipknot warehouse.
My
So
God.
before I get on my flight tonight, I thought it would be great to give heavy fans the once never before seen view of the actual Slipknot warehouse behind me, wearing the heavy shirt before I get on my flight to go to Australia in 3 hours.
You're an
So
absolute legend. Thank you for
this
that.
absolutely. What you see behind me is where we pull everything from the museum. So I just wanted to give your fans literally a never before seen view of where Slipknot keeps their things in an undisclosed location,
Of
perhaps
course.
in California. That's all I'm gonna say. Yeah.
No, can you pan it around a little bit so we get to see the whole lot? Or?
Absolutely. Yeah, I'm gonna show you. There you go. So
Like,
there you go.
wow. And this is a first before, never seen before view for media.
Correct. So yeah,
Wow.
this represents maybe about, since both rigs are out right now, I would say this represents maybe a third of what we own. We actually have another warehouse space across the street. We have a third warehouse space, but everything is really empty now because this is where we have all the stages. So one was in South America, one is going to Australia. So imagine it, this is actually quite empty the way you're seeing it right now.
Gee, that's amazing. You could get lost in there for days.
Oh, you could. It's a treasure trove. I mean, I will tell you that I have a ball every time I get to pull new things from the museum, just hunting through everything. So,
That's fantastic. Now, as you say, you will be returning to Australia with the Knotfest Museum as
yes.
part of Knotfest Australia on February the 28th in Melbourne, March the 2nd in Brisbane, and March the 8th in Sydney. So it looks like you're on top of everything, but I can imagine it'd be a bit of a stress fest about this stage right now.
No, if it hasn't been done, it's not going to get done. So I mean,
Fair
that's the
call.
one good thing about Australia. You have to pre-plan so far in advance just because the distance it takes to get there and the logistics. So really, I'm kind of just excited to get there and start unpacking everything and start setting it up because we have some amazing new things this year. We've taken the curation of the museum in a little bit of a different direction. We've made it a lot more raw. And so I just kind of can't wait to get on this flight tonight so I can get to Melbourne and just start unpacking Thursday morning and setting everything up for the fans to just continuously and hopefully blow their minds with new items.
And for those who don't know, like you say, you curate and run the whole official Knotfest museum that travels the world as part of Knotfest. So is it as big a job as what it sounds?
It's massive. Yes.
Yeah.
I upped my title from museum manager to global director because it is quite an undertaking. But it takes a village. It's not just me on my own. I work with great local partners, and I have to say the Australian team is so tight. And I just want to shout out like Lizzie and Anna and Katie, who worked on it 2 years with me, and Jack. There's some real passion, boots on the ground, and they're the ones that help me with all the logistics. And they basically help me create the container of whether it's a marquee or whether it's the structure, all the site ops. And then I get to come in and basically like fill it with all the things, all the memorabilia, all those things that fans get to see and interact with that make the museum so special because for those of you who haven't seen it, you're thinking art museum. And while there are pieces that people will look at and have an emotional reaction to, we tried to keep it really guttural and primal and on brand with the band. And so there are things you can interact with. So we really want to acknowledge the fan as well as the band. And like I say, this is as close as a fan can get to being on stage with the band. So you will really have that intimate experience with some of these items that you've only seen in videos or you've seen on photo shoots or in interviews. So these are priceless in terms of their net worth in emotional value.
And this year, of course, also celebrates Slipknot's 25th anniversary. So is the museum going to be curated in line with that?
Yeah, so I went really far back. I mean, like, so if you can imagine, I like dug through like all of these boxes
Wow.
because there is just so much here that I had access to. And basically what I did is I basically got as much original material and items as I could. So you're going to see some things from that first year, and we've got a couple great photo opportunities. I'm not going to give away too much, but we've really tried to be in line with that first album, and again, how like guttural and primal it was, and what it was that pretty much got everybody to love Slipknot, which was the authenticity, the rawness, and you know, fans will get a chance to essentially time travel and go back and see and interact these items that are from the very beginning.
Wow. And do you put the whole thing together yourself, or do the boys step in to give you a hand?
Sorry, I don't mean to laugh. Um, no, they definitely have a say in everything, and I vet everything past them. They're very hands-on in terms of what is being delivered to the fans. They care so deeply about their fans, and they really want it to be an authentic experience. They want it to feel and look a certain way. And so while I like, let's say curate, and I know that's like a real fancy word and it really sounds museumish, but while I'm sort of pulling these items together and I present it, they kind of give me the overall okay, but they're great because I've now been with them for 4 years. And I think what I've earned over these last 4 years is their trust. So they know that I'm going to deliver to a certain quality and caliber, and that I'm going to give the fans an amazing experience, which is what I strive to do every single time, is give them something new and interesting.
You ever butt heads with them? Like, do you ever pull anything out and you go, this is going to work? And they say, no, it's not. And you pull rank?
There's a diplomatic way to do that. Yeah. So I never pull rank, but I would say that obviously Clown has the most influence, and he's the final say in what stays or goes. But he and I are on the same track, so I don't usually need to bring anything to him that will be too much of a surprise, let's say.
Yeah. Now, anyone who went last year will be able to attest to how good it was. Like, you went through the different album cycles, you had different stuff from all the albums. So, how different is this year's going to be? Will it just focus on that first album, or is there going to be a bit other stuff?
No, I mean, of course we have, we are focusing it mostly on that first album, but obviously there's so much that we wanted to bring to the fans that we really wanted them to see and interact with. So there's like two pieces in particular that are from more recent touring cycles, but we couldn't leave them out because we wanted the fans to have that experience. Because again, how often is it that you get to see these things up close, you know?
Mm.
Again, let's say something of Sid's, we'll leave it at that, right?
Yeah.
Sid is usually up there. He's kind of on, one of the taller columns. So to be able to see something of his up close, I think really gives you that intimate feel. So
Yeah. And one aspect of the museum that a lot of people have spoken about from last year is the fact that they got to play the band's actual guitars as used by the band on stage. Will that be back?
absolutely, it will be back. And actually, for those who know, you know that Mick has changed guitar companies, so there'll be something special there for his fans to play. So look out for something really special from Mick in the museum.
And then just to get that right, because I've had a lot of people ask me about this, but they do get to come in and they do get to actually play them. Like, you don't have to pay any extra money to play the guitars. It's
No, no. And actually, what I was going to tell people, and I'm just going to move this again because I really
yeah.
want you to see, I really love that Slipknot fan.
Oh no,
It's
I've
so
been
out
eyeing
of,
that off.
I mean, yeah, if I could pack it for you, Kris, I would. Not only do you not have to pay anything extra once you pay to the museum, first of all, you can stay as long as you want. You can take as many photos and videos as you want. We never want to rush the fan experience. But finally, to pay the museum, the instruments, pardon me, of course you don't pay anything extra, but I tell people, even if you don't play an instrument, pick up V-Man's bass and take a picture with it. I mean, like, when are you ever gonna get that chance ever again? Also, there's something again that's like connective about touching their instruments and knowing that that is actually in rotation. So all the musical instruments that we do have in the museum are on rotation on the stage currently. So you're actually playing something that they might have played, you know, a couple months ago.
That's fantastic. And I'm going to put you on the spot here because you've tried to skirt the issue a couple of times. But last year you had Clown's Gold Mask, which was a big wow factor of the museum. What's the wow factor going to be this year?
Oh my gosh. You know, we have four things that I kind of are all, oh, that's really tough, Kris. You're good at your job. Um,
Sorry.
I would say that there is something original that I think is gonna blow the fans away. I think there's a specific photo opportunity that I think also is going to really, I think those two things. I know again,
Yeah,
I have to be vague,
that's vague
but
enough.
a great photo opportunity. And then there's this key installation that I've created that goes right back to the very beginning that I think when fans see it, their jaws are gonna drop. So
That's good enough for me. Now, it is not just the spectacle of the Slipknot treasure trove inside the museum that gets people excited, but you also dress the part and help make it a fully immersive experience. So tell me about it from that side of things. It's a fantastic spectacle.
thank you so much. I mean, I think like I'm going for sort of museum maven slash mistress slash ringleader kind of vibe. So I definitely dress up and play the part. I want to initially welcome everybody into this space because once they cross the threshold, it is a portal. They are going to be sent into a parallel dimension, an alternate universe, whatever you want to call it. And I feel like I get to almost like shepherd souls across the ferry into the afterlife. So I feel like I need to represent and make it interesting and enjoyable and play it up a little bit, have a little bit of fun. So yes, I will be your ringleader. Welcome.
Fantastic. Now, you've traveled all over the world with this, and don't just say Australia because you're talking to Australia, but what are some of your favorite places you visited as part of the Knotfest Museum?
Oh, wow. You know what's great is South America. The appetite for metal down there is insane. And because they don't get a lot of tourists coming through because they are sort of farther away in the same way you guys are,
Yeah.
I think they go over and above. Brazil in particular with the Knotfest Museum, they built a geodesic dome one time just for the Knotfest Museum. So and then you know, Germany, like, you know, that's like a kind of a given. You just announce a
Mm.
Slipknot show in Germany and it's just immediately a sellout. So I'd say other than Australia,
Other than
which I'm
Australia.
so excited to come back to and literally leaving in a matter of hours, I would say Germany and then Brazil.
Very
Those
good.
two not fests are great. Yeah.
Now, we sort of touched on this a little bit before, but the best thing about the Knotfest Museum is it doesn't cost an arm and a leg to get in. So how much is it, and how do people go about getting their tickets once they've already got their Knotfest tickets?
Oh my gosh, Kris. Well, there is a QR code. First of all, they can go on the website and purchase a ticket. There is also a QR code at the box office. They can come up to the museum directly. But yeah, it's intended to be accessible. And again, people can spend as long as they want there. But we tried to make it as easy as possible. And you can buy time slots. So, you know, you can purchase a ticket and then come at a particular time.
Okay.
And I just want to footnote that if you miss your time, do not worry about it. Of course, the most important thing is that you come inside. So we will welcome you no matter what.
Nice. Now, in closing, describe the Knotfest Museum for us in just a few sentences.
Gosh. I mean, I think I already did. I think it's just a portal to the Slipknot dimension. I think it's as close to you can be to the band without being on stage. I think it's primal, guttural. I think it's emotional. I think it's incredible how many people have really intimate personal stories about the band. And once they see items, it sort of brings up those memories and how eager they are to share. And everybody who works there wants to hear those stories. So please come up to myself, the host, the PAs, anybody in there. And if you have something you want to share, we always want to hear it. And, you know, not to get too dark, but Slipknot is responsible for saving so many people's lives. And I can't tell you how many people come up and actually show me scars or tell me stories. And for us to be able to create a safe container for people to experience that or release it one final time is absolutely an honor. So I would say that's the museum in a nutshell, which I know is probably vague, but you have to sort of see it and experience it to believe it. And we are here for you. We are fans ourselves, and it's something that binds and so many people around the world is this band. If you're a Maggot, if you're a Slipknot fan, you are truly in an elite class. You do belong, and you belong with us.